Welcome back to IGN Live from Gamescom. It's time to take another look at Kingdom Come Deliverance. I'm here with Toby, who brought the game by our E3 booth a couple months ago, and he showed us an early look at the game in like the first town area, I think.
Exactly. Yes.
And then today you're going to give us a little bit more of a look into the combat. Is that right?
Of course, yes. Let's fight a little bit. Let's see how the medieval knights actually fought.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because like you said, this is the whole idea behind this game is you're trying to make a historically accurate RPG.
Exactly. That's one of the pillars. So of course there's a story we want to tell, but still we want to try to bring up or show a realistic medieval game, an RPG that, well, has no magic and dragons, but the real medieval fencing, which is called actually HEMA. But yeah, so we try to have cool sword fighting, things that actually really happened back then. So real moves, you can attack the head, you can do combos like a little bit like Tekken, so left, right, up, and then you throw him on the ground. So it's very, very tricky. If you want to compare it, it's maybe a little bit like Dark Souls, like in terms of like the hardness, the difficulty, but still, well, it's an RPG, so you can get better, you can level up, it will help you somehow, but you always, and that's very important, need that personal skill, because if you screw up, you can screw up in the beginning with some regular farmer who kills you, but the same guy can potentially even kill you in the end if you're just not good enough to fight.
Well, so you start out the game just kind of like a regular guy. You're not a soldier in the beginning of the game, right?
Very right.
So it looks like we're a little bit more advanced here in what we're seeing.
Yes. So yeah, exactly as you said, you are a commoner. You will always stay a commoner, kind of, but you get in the service of a noble, and you kinda rise in the ranks, but you will always stay a soldier. So we want to make it realistic. So we will never become a king, but you will get involved into a civil war. You will get dragged into this war, and then you have from like fencing schools where you have to train with different trainers. You will then have to encounter bandits, or they will encounter you. So you have to fight back. But what's also very important is, and that's the cool part actually, that there will be castle sieges. There will be big skirmishes. You can fight with like with several people against each other. You can decide. And again, it's an RPG, so you can decide if you want to be in the first row with the, like, I don't know, heavy axe and then smash them to the ground, or if you would rather want to be third row and shoot with the bow.
Yeah, I'd probably rather be the third row myself.
Well,
I'm a third row guy.
I think it's really cool to be in the front, but then you have them. Well, we have an AI system which knows what you do, and they try to flank you. So this will be then super tricky when all of a sudden there are 3 guys around you. But yeah, so that's something you will be able to encounter.
So you're doing a few things that are unusual. Not only it's a historically accurate RPG, but also you don't see too many first-person melee games. That's still a little unique.
Yes. We thought that the first idea was to make it immersive as possible. So we decided to have this historical, or the story that really happened. Your personal story is fictional, but the story you are living through, or the game you are playing through, these things really happened. Most of the NPCs really lived. However, we decided to make it first person only, to like really throw you inside this medieval world, and we try to like make the game as awesome looking as possible, like put up the graphics high to really give you the feeling that I am now Henry. That's the one you are playing. I am Henry. I grab that sword and I have to survive against this dude. So as you said, we do some things different. So our combat system is so hard that you really have to focus in every combat, because it could be your last.
Yeah. So tell us about the little star icon on the enemy here. I assume that represents his limbs and head? Or?
Kind of, yes. Okay. That's when you lock into it. You can always unlock. So for those who are like triggered right now, it's a lock for if you want to fight with someone. We need that because you are able to do the different combos. And the star system represents the different angles of attack, where you can like aim for his head, for the shoulders, or for the bottom parts. And if you with the I prefer to play on the controller, but it's or a mouse, whatever. But I like the controller. So with the right bumper stick, you can choose from where you want to attack. So if you, for example, want to attack the head, you just move up and then you can attack the head. This makes sense because we have something we call physical collision model. So if you see that the opponent has no helmet, attack his head, because you will then kill him eventually in one hit. However, if he has full plate armor, we have stone, paper, scissors system. If he has full plate armor, you cannot penetrate it with a sword. So you need to a little bit see and observe what's happening there. And the opponent does the same. So if you have like a weak spot, like no helmet, for example, he will also try to aim for your head.
Interesting. Now, to my eye, the animations look very realistic. Is that something you put a lot of time into?
Yes, exactly. We invited historians. Well, in the beginning we thought it's enough to just talk to them, but then we realized that we had to hire a historian to our team to help us to recreate the stuff. But we also invited people who are doing medieval fencing. So they told us how the medieval fencing in the 15th century looked like. We told them why this is not possible for a video game, and together we created a compromise to make it as realistic as possible. But the reasons are obvious. The fighter wants to be as unpredictable as possible, so there's almost no moves and one blow and then he's dead, the opponent. But of course, as a player, you want to see what's happening there, so we have this broader moves where you see what the opponent is doing, so you don't need actual 3 months of real sword fight training to beat your opponent.
But if you do have real sword training, will that be beneficial to you here?
Well, yes and no. I mean, like, you can at least see what kind of combos they're doing, because in Europe there's a book which is called Talhofer, and this book is one of the earliest, or maybe the earliest, like representation of medieval fencing. It was a book only painted there, so there were different paintings of fighting styles, and we took this book and recreated those combos. So these combos are actually something that for someone who is trained in fencing, who might recognize at least what's going to happen. So yeah, there was a little green shield in the middle for those who spotted this, because attacking is not always the best option. We can also block, of course, which makes sense, but this small green shield, it's there for like a millisecond or so. We just saw it. It gives you a time slot or a window for a perfect block. And if you are really quick, you will even be able to do a riposte or like a counter attack. So you block it and immediately slash back. So you have this back and forth, which is pretty cool. And now we are fighting a guy with a full plate armor, and this is of course way harder because he's pretty much a medieval tank.
Are you able to knock the armor off of him?
Yes and no. You can destroy it if you really attack the head a lot, for example. Then it will eventually crack, and then it will make more damage. But again, we have this stone paper scissors system. So don't use a sword against full plate armor. Use a mace and crash him to
we did see
death in his tin.
Yeah, I did know some footage where you were using a shield and a mace.
Yes. Well, I'm more the aggressive type in this in our game. So I prefer the 1.5 sword, so really with two-handed sword fighting. However, of course, if you're more defensive, use the shield, which is good for, well, the blocks are then way easier. But since you have a short sword, then it's like you have the distance to your opponent is much shorter, and then they can get you as well. And if you see someone with a halberd running towards you, then try to find someone who helps you, because he's like super far away, and this will be very hard to get into a melee fight with him.
Would you say there's a large variety of weapons in the game?
Well, definitely we try to recreate or bring all the medieval weapons that were common back then. The only one we will not bring are chain weapons, like Morningstar and stuff, because technical reasons. Since we have this collision model and we would have those animations, when the stars would bounce back from the opponent, you would hit yourself, and these kind of struggles. So we just skipped it for this time. We'll see maybe what the future brings. And these are some of the brawls. This is actually a smaller brawl. This is taken from a quest called Raubritter, which is like a bad, thievy knight who started to raid the country, or to the countryside. And that's very important. This quest this brawl skirmish only happens because the player, or me who was recording it, wanted it to happen. What I mean is that this quest can also be solved in a peaceful way. Fighting is a huge thing in the game, but the game is not about fighting per se. It's just something it's an RPG. So if you want to fight, grab your sword and make those fights happen. However, if you would go there earlier, you could try to use your diplomatic skills and say, hey, listen, we are going to come tomorrow, we will going to kill you, and he will say, okay, well, then I'm going to leave. And this will have a different outcome later in the story, because you got this quest from a higher lord, and he will then be very angry that you send away the thieves, and so on and so on. So everything you do, or in general, we give you a quest in Kingdom Come, like kill or find the bandit lord, and how you get there and what you actually do with him is then up to you. So it's really like an RPG system that asks you what you want to do, and we don't grab you by the hand and drag you through the game.
Are we seeing an example of that here? Because it looks like we're restarting the
skirmish. I'm restarting. I was restarting the skirmish to show that you can do different stuff. However, I'm only showing this particular quest line, or this quest path here where this skirmish actually is going to happen. But as I said earlier, you can grab different weapons, you can do different stuff here. There's on the left, you can barely see it, but we will eventually see it in a second. There are archers on the top, so if you decide to not go to in the fight in the first row, you can go up to the mountain and try to shoot them with the bow. Or, and that's also pretty interesting and maybe a little bit cowardly, you can just observe and wait what's happening, because this skirmish does not have to you don't have to necessarily win the skirmish to continue in the game. What I mean is that if your commander who's there in the front, if he's calling for retreat, then your soldiers will run away, right? And then you're still there alone on the battlefield. So you can either run with them and then you kinda lost the quest, but it will continue somehow, or but he survived.
He's up.
But he survived.
All right, he's fine, everybody. He's gonna be okay.
He had a very good breakfast. However, if you stay on the battleground then and your army run away, your guys are running away, and you stay on the battleground, then you can try to kill this bandit lord your own. You can go there and try to do sneaky stuff and poison their food, so you don't have to fight at all, and just wait in the forest. That's the archer spot I was saying, but I missed the first shot. However, they are talking some dirty talk, shouting at each other right now. But the first moment I hit someone, the quest triggers immediately, so it's really not like stupidly waiting for something. But as I said, you can either win or lose depending on how your friends are doing, and of course you can have great impact if you just enter the fight as well and are successful with killing. Then you will turn the odds to your favor.
And you were saying this is more of like a mid-sized skirmish here?
This is a small-sized skirmish, actually. So the biggest one we will have is, of course, like the big finale, castle siege, with guys dragging ladders and throwing it on the wall, and then you can, like, crawling up the wall, look left and right, and you see how they're running up. I'm really looking forward, really excited to show this to the web, but it would be a little bit spoiling, so we need to wait there. But this will be super cool, and the castle siege is where you then have to, like, conquer the stuff. However, it's not like you say I'm now going to conquer this castle. Everything is story, like part of the story. So you cannot just say I'm going to raid this stud farm or I'm going to attack this castle. Everything is connected to the story, to the main storyline. However, you can of course branch away and do side quests and stuff and do whatever you want. But if you want to push the story forward, and castles have to be sieged or were really sieged, so you have to go through the main quest.
Well, that is a quick look at some of the combat in Kingdom Come Deliverance. Continues to look very cool. The game is out in February, which I think you were telling me earlier is just about 4 years exactly since you launched your Kickstarter for the game. Is that right?
Exactly. So we are launching the game on February 13, 2018, so one day before Valentine's Day, so you have your Valentine's Day presents. However, it's almost exactly 4 years after we launched our Kickstarter party. So this is really happening. This is really a thing. Kingdom Come is going to come very soon. And the biggest excitement for us, for me right now, is not only that I'm sitting next to you, but that we have a huge booth in the public hall. So for the fans who want to play and try the game, they can come to our booth in Hall 9. And together with our partners from Deep Silver, we created some really cool stuff and merch, so come for merch. And so this is really happening, and we're really excited to show it to the world.
Toby, thank you so much for coming by the show again.
Thank you for inviting.
That is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Stay tuned, more to come from IGN Live here at Gamescom after this.